I didn't want to give up on this dream. I could go back and work at McDonald's or get a job as a trainer again, but I saw the future. I saw the vision. I knew this was going to be something that was real, and I didn't want to give up on it. So I just kept striving away. And then, man, then like 2 weeks later, sorry, it's just, even telling it now gets emotional.
Came up from the bottom to the top. And the young is gonna never stop. And he always punching in the clock.
What's up, everybody? They call me the Funnel Doc. Roughly, like 18 years ago or more now, I started doing out as a personal trainer, actually. I was in the military for 4 years, did personal training for like 18 years, ran gyms, LA Fitness, the UFC gym here in Las Vegas, 24-hour fitness, yada, yada, yada. Decided I wanted to play poker for a living. Instead, moved to Las Vegas, played poker for a living for 3 years. As anyone knows that's played poker before, that's an up and down life. You have some wins, you have some losses. I came down to a point where I had $10,000 left in my bank account. And I wish I could tell you some cool story where I risked it all and wind up winning. But instead, I decided to go back to what I know, being a personal trainer. At this time, this was in 2010, I had this idea for the first ever online personal training automated like app. It was before apps were even created. Matter of fact, if you go to YouTube, you look up beyourtrainer.com, that's BEYOUR trainer.com, you can see actually screenshots and everything of the software we made. So one day I'm doing a personal training session, and one of my clients, I'm telling them about this idea, and this was before everybody had everything on iPads and everything, and I wrote everything hand down in notebooks, and I had like 5 notebooks full of like notes on formulas, what it would look like. All this app had been designed in my head. So I'm telling one of my coaching clients during one of our sessions, and he looks at me and he's like, "How much do you like your job as a trainer, Jeff?" And I'm like, "Well, Mark, I love my job. Why do you ask?" He's like, "Here's what I'll tell you what. I will pay for everything. I'll give you $3,000 a month as a salary. And when we launch this thing, we'll split it 50-50. How's that sound?" And I'm sure most of you right now would have jumped all over it just like I did, and I'm like, let's do it. So fast forward now, a year later, we're getting ready to launch. We're getting ready to launch. And then all of a sudden, Mark comes to me. This is all built out. And he tells me, "Hey, look, I've spent $100,000 on this project with your salary, with everything it costs to build this app out, everything." And he's like, "To be honest with you, this is something new that's never been done. And I don't want to spend the 200, 300, $500,000 it might take to market it." And he's like, "I'd rather just cut my loss." So it must be nice to be able to cut loss at 100K and just be able to write that off. But to me, I was nobody. I was just a personal trainer. I didn't know anything about marketing or anything at that time. So he gives me this software. He's like, "You can have it. I'm going to go to Puerto Rico." And he goes to Puerto Rico. So for the next 5-6 years, I'm trying to figure out how to sell this stuff. And I decide that I'm never going to be able to market it like it needs to be. So I go back to doing personal training. And I'm doing sales. I'm trying to figure out how to market myself as like a boot camp. This was in 2016 and 17. Boot camps were really big at that time. I was trying to figure out how I could market myself online, how I could not have to work in gyms anymore. And I was studying underneath this guy named Bedros Keuilian. And one day he holds up the book .com Secrets from some random dude named Russell Brunson, and tells me to read it. So just like any good mentor or mentoree, if your coach tells you to read a book, you read it, right? Well, I'll never forget the first feelings I had when I read .com Secrets. It's like when Neo could first see the Matrix. All the studying I'd been doing on marketing for the last like 5 years, trying to figure out funnels and sales copy and everything, it all started making sense. And it was at that point that I decided that funnels are the future. Russell Brunson is leading the way and leading the charge in ClickFunnels. And this is something I wanted to be a part of. So April 4th, 2017, I actually got this as an actual tattoo that says Funnel Hacker on it, as a commitment to myself that I was going to either do something great in ClickFunnels or be some weirdo with a funnel hacker tattoo. And luckily it was the first and not the second. So needless to say, at that point, this is 2017, April, I joined the ClickFunnels group. There was about 32,000 people in the group at that time. It's now up to about, I think it's 250 or around there now. And I decided that the best way for me to master ClickFunnels was to provide the ultimate value I could to this group. So literally I would spend from morning to afternoon, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours in this group, just providing value. If someone didn't know something, I'd find it out. I'd jump on a Zoom call, whatever it took so that I could help people out. And on top of that, I'm maxing out all of our credit cards. I was married at this time, tapping out our bank account, sign up for every course I could. I mean, I know everybody here, raise your hand if you bought a course here in the past, anybody watching right now. Right. Yeah, exactly. So everybody knows you're just going all in, you're getting everything. And that's what I was doing too. I was going all in on funnels. So as this is happening, about 4 months into it, my wife had sort of been supporting us at that time. She was a manager at Starbucks. I'd been doing side jobs here and there and had money, but it wasn't anything steady. As I'm sure some of you guys can feel that as entrepreneurs. And one day she went to work and I'm sitting at my desk watching old videos of Russell Brunson marketing quickies where he looks like he's like 15 years old, trying to figure out all the behind the scenes and everything I could about funnels. And like 30 minutes later, she comes back in the house and she's just bawling like somebody died. And I'm like, I'm sitting at my desk. I'll never get at my desk. You should be right by the front door. And she walks in and I'm just like, babe, what happened? She's like, I got fired. The night before, they were throwing out muffins, those Starbucks muffins you get at Starbucks. And one of the girls that worked there wanted one of the muffins. Tori, my wife at the time, said, sure, go ahead and take it. And the other girl didn't like her, reported her to corporate. And because Starbucks is so corporate, even though she'd been a manager for 8 years, immediately fired. Both her and that girl were fired overnight. So like most people in America, we were paycheck to paycheck at that time, man. We literally had like $2,000 in the bank, if that, and rent was coming up. We had bills that were due. Next thing you know, we don't have hardly any money. It got so bad that I had to wind up even pawning my wife's ring to be able to pay rent. It got really, really bad because I didn't want to give up on this dream. I could go back and work at McDonald's or get a job as a trainer again, but I saw the future. I saw the vision. I knew this was going to be something that was real and I didn't want to give up on it. So I just kept striving away. And then, man. And then like 2 weeks later, sorry, it's just even telling it now gets emotional because like 2 weeks later, I'll never forget, out of nowhere, Kevin David, I don't know if you've heard of him, puts a post in the ClickFunnels group. He's like, hey, I need help with my funnels. And because I've been doing so much value to the group, everyone just starts tagging me, Jeff, he's the guy, talk to him. He's the guy, talk to him. And I'd done a couple of funnels up to that time, but I hadn't done anything major by any means. So he reached out to me. I show him some funnels I built. I show him the tattoo. He's like, well, you got the funnels, you got the tattoo, you got to be the guy, right? So, and at that point, I wound up building his entire ecosystem, his funnels, his emails, messenger bot, everything except for the actual course itself and his webinar he shot. And he paid me $6,000. And at that point, $6,000, when you're broke and you got to pawn your wife's ring, you're like, baby, we're rich. We're going out to dinner at Red Lobster. We're getting your ring out of pawn. We are rich, baby, But unfortunately, like I'm sure most of you've ever felt, when you get that big win, it goes away fast, So needless to say, I was able to get some jobs and whatnot. We wind up launching Kevin's funnel. And at that time, it was the fastest anyone did $1 million. We did $1.2 million in sales in 57 days. That one went on to get the X Award, which did 10 million in just under 18 months. Then Kevin asked me to make a second funnel, which is this guy. This was for a Shopify course. That one took about 6 months to hit $1 million. It's done about 4 million since then. In let's see, November 2018, we launched my funnel agency. In just under 8 months, we did $800,000 in sales. I have the third 2-comma I'm going to be getting this year at Funnel Hacking Live. We launched a guy, Larry Labarsky. He had a wholesale Amazon course. I built out his ecosystem and everything. We did $844,000 in 7 days with that one. It's done several million since then. While my agency was running with all the funnels we created, we did it's 41.7 million now been generated in the last 4 years. But here's what's going to blow your mind. Even with all that success, I winded up shutting down my agency because it winded up getting to the point where I had 13 different bosses. I had 13 different clients. I mean, we were paying, and anyone, I got this guy, Steve, shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. You're running an agency. These people, as soon as they pay you, they feel like they own you. It doesn't matter. And the more they pay you, the more they feel like they own you. I mean, we started at 6, but when we ended, it was anywhere from 30 grand all the way to 100 grand for a funnel. And when people are paying you that much money, they call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and expect you to answer. And it gets really, really bad. And even though I had a whole team, it was a lot of stress on me to run everything. And I just wasn't happy. The last guy I wind up making his funnel. Am I allowed to cuss on here, Chad? Can I cuss at all? Can I say anything? No? Okay, maybe. I'll just say F word. Anyway, sorry. So anyway, I'll never get this guy pays me 30 grand for his funnel. We launch it. He does 90,000 at launch, 3 times what he paid me at launch. And then for the next 5 months, I tracked his funnel. He did 50 to 60 grand a month, every month after that for at least 5 months. And the first words were his mouth were, why the F wasn't it $1 million? I was like, are you kidding me? Like and that was literally the straw that broke the camel's back. Even though we were mad success, I was making a ton of money, making huge bag. I was just like, forget this. I'm not going to do it. And I shut down my agency. At that point, I decided to launch a course. It was called Funnel Agency Secrets. I wanted to teach people everything I'd learned in funnels. But the good thing was it was so popular actually that it made your brand. I'm under NDA. I can't say who it is, but came and bought my course from me for a significant amount of money, which was amazing. But then at that point, I'm like, well, what do I do now? I don't want to open an agency. Do I want to make another course? And I started to think about it. The problem with courses is you Google this, you'll see they inherently have only a 60 to 70% never even open it. Only like 30 to 40% of people when they buy a course. And again, everybody rose their hand. I'm sure some of us, I've got them in my book. We're all thinking that too. We're part of that number. But I'm like, I don't want to feed into that. So I'm like, let me try something else. Let's do coaching. So my thought was this originally. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it affordable. I'm going to make it $97 a month. I'm going to help out thousands of people. I'll make thousands of dollars. I'll impact thousands. It'll be amazing. This is the greatest idea ever. So I launch it. We have literally 2,000 people sign up at launch, which it's funny, in the numbers we run in at $97, 2,000 people at launch is 20 grand, which is pretty damn good. But it's funny when you get comparative syndrome with the high entrepreneurs that I run with, that's actually sort of shitty. So it's sort of funny. It's amazing how money can change to where that 6 grand was life changing, but 20 grand then was like, oh, dang, it almost failed. But anyway, I wound up having 2,000 people sign up. I felt like it wasn't that bad. People were doing good, but I found out really quick when people put in $97, they put in $97 worth of effort too. It's the amount of skin equal to what people put in the game. So I'm like, well, what can I do to increase the price or do something to make it different? So I'm like, well, add more value to it. So add more training, start adding more of my time, add more things, and I doubled the price. I noticed when I doubled the price that the level of people, the input, the action takers doubled as well. And I'm like, well, what happens if I do it again? So I doubled again. And now eventually I got to over a year and a half now, we've been doing this program, and my last 8 students all hit a 10K within 30 days and all hit 100K within 80 to 122 days. And now I teach people how to build their coaching ecosystems, no matter what their niche is. I have a formula that works, and that's what I do. So went from being a personal trainer, poker player, losing everything, to now I'm blessed and honored to be able to say that I'm the funnel doc, and here in front of you now telling all this, and hopefully inspire some of you guys to be able to push through it, because it gets rough, especially as entrepreneurs, man. I know it gets lonely out there. There's not a lot of friends that we have because they don't understand the world we live in. But luckily, you guys are blessed. You have this amazing community to be able to reach out and help one another. So again, and that's pretty much my story. Thanks, Chad. What do we got, brother?
When everybody tried to come to you about when you found success, I bet there was a lot of pressure. When you just found success yourself, everybody depended on you, like you were the guru, but you wasn't a guru. But you had
I mean, it depends on what considers a guru. I think once you have a certain amount of success, then that title starts to follow you. It's like, if I'd only done it once or maybe even twice, I could say, yeah, but this is like my like fourth 2 comma, like, or, and then I've had multiple others. So it really depends on what you have. That's one of the things I think limiting mindset. I think sometimes when people have success, they think that that's, they don't believe in themselves to be able to keep continuing on. You know what I mean? But that guru term's thrown around a lot. You know, there's a lot of people out there that definitely don't have results. And I think for anyone watching, that's one of the things when you want to invest or look into somebody, do some research. There's too much online right now, people that are putting out fake stuff. It's so easy to be a faker right now and a front, like make it till you fake it till you make it bull crap. So don't do that. Do a little research, make sure you got somebody legitimate. Don't waste your time with just going off of social media.
I was wondering how much, so you're selling coaching right now, right?
Yes, sir.
How much do your closers make every month?
Well, right now we're actually switching models. We're at a whole, I can't talk, 100% organic. And we're doing just about 65K a month right now, just through organic. So we're switching over and we're checking out moving into YouTube and potentially even TikTok ads, but we're waiting till after Funnel Hacking Live because I have a whole bunch of stuff going on to use the momentum of Funnel Hacking Live to power my actual promotion. But we're looking at a minimum of like 10K a month to be spent on ads, minimum.
I just wanted to talk with you, and I'm also developing a coaching program.
Awesome.
It's like a lifestyle level up program. I'm gonna niche it towards us sales, newly successful sales guys. So it's gonna be good. But yeah, I just wanted
1 second. Let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
So what do you want to price this? All right, not to get off what you're going to ask, but I see a problem already potentially. What are you going to price your coaching offer?
I was well, $3,000 a month, or
Okay.
$3,000 total for like a 90-day program.
Okay, that might work. Just when you said you said new salespeople. The problem with new is,
right.
is usually they're broke. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the only problem. Trust me, I started I'm going to get new people to ClickFunnels, but they aren't making money.
Right, I got you. I meant to say newly successful.
Perfect. I like it. That's what, yeah, dialing in that avatar is super huge. You can literally, when I first started out and made my jump and started increasing my coaching program, I didn't change my avatar. And I started trying to ask for the same amount of money from the same amount of people, and they just couldn't afford it.
Okay, so you got into digital marketing, and then I guess like your name was tossed around, and that's pretty cool. But something like this now is kind of like a growing thing. Like, how do you push your way into the world of digital marketing? I mean, I know Mike Barron spoke about it in all his videos and lessons, and that's how he gained clients. Like, how do you push your way into something like this?
Are you talking about someone that already has results, or where are they at on their journey? Are they just starting out, or what are you, as far as?
Yeah, I guess just starting out. Like, I mean, I'm very interested in learning myself. I mean, you've proven a lot of success. I know there's a lot of these guys who pretend and they're on YouTube ads and everything like that. Seems like you've been in the whole start of the thing. Like, you're the guy that I would want to learn from.
For sure. So check this out. So because my background was original fitness and I knew a lot about it, I decided to go after the fitness niche. I was here in Las Vegas. I would actually do, and I don't recommend doing this too much because I want to have memberships, but what I told people, like for instance, Randy Couture, I don't know if anyone knows MMA or anything, his gym's here. We went to his gym. I told him, I'm like, I'll tell you what, we normally charge $3,000 a month for our ads. This was way back when we very first started, mind you. What I'm going to do, Randy, and I actually was talking to Randy himself. I'm like, Randy, here's what I'll do. I'll give you a first month for free, equal to a lifetime membership to your gym, which is equal to about $3,000. So at the end of that, I'd like to talk to you if we can continue on. If you like what we do, it'd be $3,000 a month, fair exchange. So I wound up having like 10 different lifetime gym memberships because at this time, this was 4 years ago, roughly, CrossFit was really big back then. So I was going to all the CrossFit gyms. And for the first month, I would just do X amount of months of your gym and trade for X amount of months, what they felt comparable. Basically, I just wanted a way that I could get them in the door that they weren't getting it for free. Because if they get it for free, no one values free. You got to get something in exchange. So at least for them, they're saying, wow, he's getting a lifetime membership. That's a big deal, even though it's only space in their gym, you know, but it still was enough that I was getting something. And that's what really helped to pole vault me initially, was just literally, here's what I do. I had my laptop. I'd have a opt-in page for their gym. Hey, it was like first 2 weeks, like 25 bucks. I can't remember. It was like 25 bucks or something. And I'd go to different gyms, I go online, I download the image of their gym logo, change it out on the funnel, change out some text, and go in. Hey, guess what? I have a funnel. This is what we do. We can run ads to it. Would you like to know more? And that was my pitch, man. And I just hustled and wind up getting like 10 or 12 people for when we were doing the ads part of it. And we started at $3,000. We get people even in the door at a first month discounted rate. If they like, after we gave the free one, they still were like, oh, we're not sure. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I don't normally do this, but because I really liked working with you, I could see your success. We're going to give you your first month half off, but from then on, no more freebies, but we're going to, you know, something like that. But that's what we got started on. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And it seems like you were kind of like, probably without training, a natural closer.
Oh, well, see, that was the lucky thing, is because I'd been in personal training, in managing gyms, I had been selling personal training and gym memberships. So I was always in the top percentage of sales. And that's what made being a funnel, guys. I just took everything I knew about sales and translated it in funnels. Like normally when we'd be in sales, I'd ask you questions to be able to find out and pull the information. Well, now I have to do the research ahead of time and pull that information out to be able to put it in the funnel. Because all a funnel is a sales conversation that's shown on text and video.
Thanks a lot. Well, thanks a lot for being here, Jeff. Really appreciate it. It's Rob Zappa from Winnipeg, Canada. So I was a family physician up here in Canada for about 14 years, and then had pretty severe burnout, and actually ended up losing my medical license. So I got into, you know, kind of the sales end of things and stuff, and I've been really enjoying it. So when
you should do radio, like you've got real good like radio.
Oh, thanks. It's all in the microphone, I swear. But what I was going to ask you was kind of, I'm kind of looking at, kind of in addition to what I'm doing here, looking at maybe starting up a like a program for burnout, you know, for healthcare professionals. I was wondering kind of what maybe would be, say, you know, 2 or 3 pieces of advice that you would say for a person starting out doing that. Okay, so have you designed your program really yet much at all? I've got kind of a skeleton outline, but. Okay, so for one of the very first thing, and we touched on this earlier, dial in your avatar. You really need to know what keeps them up at night, who they are, like how much money they make, if even to some degree, if they're married, because do they have a family? Like those different elements are going to be different ways you're going to have to teach people differently. So really dial that in. The next thing is making sure your offer makes sense to your people. You know what I mean? Like what is your end result needs to have that baked into your offer so that when people see it, they can see the future for what like bridge they have to go over. Does that make sense what I'm saying so far? Totally. Awesome. How long, do you have an idea how long you want your program to be yet? I was thinking probably about maybe like 3 months kind of thing. So 90 days, perfect. Yeah. So the next step at that point is you're going to want to think of your end goal. When someone's done, they're going to have achieved whatever it is. And then you need to reverse engineer and think what steps along the way need to be done from end to start and then from start to end. The other key when working with coaching students, give them a roadmap, man. Let them know what the process is. It's left out a lot. Like even if it's a little workbook or something or some type of something that's going to show them and even do a video and tell them, here's your milestones you need to be hitting. Here's what to expect this week. Because even if to you it makes sense, realize this is their like 3rd or 4th language. They don't speak it. This is your first language. You got to speak to them like, I don't want to say dumb it down, but put it on like the simplest terms, because for you, it's like, oh, that makes total sense. For them, they're like, what's going on? You know, so really give them some lead. The other great thing I find, 2 things, give some type of, people like don't like calling it homework because they're like, oh, that's a negative connotation, but I don't know what else to hell call it, but it's homework. But along the way, give them homework and have them put it in your group. This does 2 things. It creates engagement in your group,
creates FOMO if it's in a bigger group, and allows you to track student progress because you get to now see it's like, oh, it's done. Tommy did his homework. Look, it's right there, and you can review it, give critiques. If it's in your private student group, it allows the students to give their own critiques and help to build the community. Really good way of keeping engagement up. And then the other thing I like to do is sort of gamify it. For instance, if for my guys, if you're doing your YouTube channel and you upload your first 5 videos, you get a badge for that. And I know for some people like me, I'm thinking that's silly, but for people that love achievements and badges, I've had people like literally message me. They're like, dude, where's my badge? What's up? What's up, bro? Like they're going to fight me because I didn't get the badge or something. I'm like, sorry, like it's a big deal. So gamifying is huge. Adding all that and really having that focus is really going to be able to give you more direction on what you're doing with your coaching program.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
For sure, man. For sure.
I guess the only other question I would have would be, like you were mentioning about, kind of budgeting for advertising. If, say starting out a program like that, where you're kind of starting with a pretty shoestring budget, would you recommend mostly like organic outreach?
My specialty that I used to run were Facebook ads. I recommend for most clients starting out roughly a budget of $3K. I mean, to really be, because you got to think when you're doing, you test a different headline, you test 2 headlines, that's 2 different ad sets. Now you test an image for each of those headlines. Now it's like 4 ad sets. It gets multiplying out really quick. So you need a little bit of ad spend, usually $3,000 the first month. And then I try to scale up to $10,000 as quick as possible. Once you start going from 10,000 up into the 100,000s, you're going to start seeing diminishing return on your ad spends, especially once you start getting up into 60, 70,000. It's really weird. Initially, people are like, dude, I'm going to make millions because I spent 1,000. I got all these people. And then you find out once you start trying to dial it up and you start expanding your pool out, it narrows. It doesn't, you would think if I put 1,000 and got 100, I should be able to put 2,000 and get 2. It doesn't work that way the way Facebook ads, unfortunately. But yeah, starting at 3K is a very solid number because initially, and that depends on how much your pixels seasoned, like how well is your traffic been your Facebook page that it knows its audience, That's why I like to say that first 30 days is usually the testing phase and optimizing phase. This is how I used to pitch it. The first 30 days are the testing and optimizing phase. The next 60 days, we're really starting to dial things in. You're going to start getting sales. To be honest with you, that first 30 days, you're maybe not even going to make money. You're probably going to break even if that. The next 60 days, we're going to start seeing, or the next 30 days going to day 30 to 60, we're going to start seeing a return. We're going to start getting a bunch of sales. You're going to start seeing all this traffic. It's going to start picking up. And then we go from day 60 to 90. That's when the hockey stick's going to happen. And that's when it's going to really take off. Because here's the deal, if you don't set the precedent for your people, they're going to think Facebook ads are flip a switch and we're rich. And that doesn't work that way. There's a time. But if you don't tell your clients that and set that level, they're guessing just like the roadmap. You've got to tell people, you've got to let them know so they're not guessing.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries. No worries.
I just want to ask you really quick, like, what do you think your biggest weakness is?
So originally it was imposter syndrome because my first 2 commas, because they were both from Kevin, I really felt, and I made another $1 million ecosystem, but it's not a 2 comma, that's in a couple others. But it wasn't until I started getting the other results with other people that I was able to be, oh, it's not just Kevin, it's me. Because anyone that knows Kevin, he's a powerhouse. He's going to be successful no matter what. But when you're doing that, you're like, okay, is it me or do I really know my stuff? And then when I got the third $1 million funnel and multiple ones after that, I started really being able to see it was me and it was my success. The other thing is if you haven't read the book by, I believe it's either Guy or Guy Hendricks called The Upper Limit, I believe, or yeah, here it is. What is it? This book right here, The Big Leap. This is it, The Big Leap. If you haven't read this book, excellent book. Because here's the deal. It's you ask what problems and be very honest, man. I get sorry, but I hit some massive success and I'd lay off the pedal, man. I'd hit like a 50K, a 60K month. And when it was just me and a couple people in my business, I wouldn't keep marketing. I wouldn't keep pushing it. I'd hit what in that book calls my upper limit. And I wouldn't keep doing the things that I knew I needed to keep doing to be successful. And I'd self-sabotage myself, to be very honest. And it wasn't until I realized that you've got to be able to move past the, like, it was hard. Okay. So because like really, I'm just Jeff, man, to be honest, I'm just Jeff. So it was really hard to be able to become the person that is supposed to be this influencer. Does that make sense? Like that shift of personality where I'm just Jeff and there's all this pressure. And if you keep going and you keep moving, it's even more pressure. And there's more people that are looking on you. And now people are starting to tell me how I'm changed their lives, man. And what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if I, you know what I mean? And it starts getting to you. And the easiest way to not face all that is just do nothing. And that's what so many times I would wind up doing because of that, because there was this, I guess you could say, fear of almost success, because with success comes so much more responsibility. You know, it's like the Spider-Man quote, you know, everybody knows pretty much what I'm talking about, but you know, and that's the thing. And it hasn't been really, to be honest with you, until the last year-ish, 6 months that I've really been able to step in this role and take on the mantle that comes with it. Because whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever, I think that it's given me this spot to be able to influence people and help them like yourselves and inspire and to lead and to change people's lives, because the internet is the most powerful thing we've ever had. And I can talk to people all over the world now where that wasn't possible before. So hopefully I got on a little tangent, but hopefully that answered your question.
Sure. Thank you. Do you have any like suggestions for like people like us, like just starting out or?
Most definitely. First of all, network and find friends like you're doing now, because if you're doing it by yourself, it's a hard world. You need people that you can bounce stuff off of, you can talk to, that support you, but don't give up either. I know this is cheesy saying, but there were so many times that I was like, man, maybe I should go back to personal training. Maybe I should get a job at Taco Bell or some whatever. This sucks. I don't like this. This is terrible. But the payoff is more than you've ever dreamed. You'll have freedom, you'll have money, you'll be able to do things like this. In a couple, at the end of Funnel Hacking Live, I'm going to go travel to Europe for 5 months. And you don't have to be rich to be able to do that. You can be making 10 grand, you know, and easily be able to do that. Just don't give up on it. Keep pushing through. And when you get stuck, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think too many people nowadays don't ask for help. I'll figure it out. Dude, you've got all this network. You've got the internet. Don't just figure it out. Go to someone and get some help that knows what's up. Because here's the deal. If you try and figure it out, what if you mess up and then mess up again and mess up? Because like, who's to say you're going to figure it out right? You know, go to someone that's been successful, and you don't necessarily have to pay for it or whatever. Sometimes you can find it on YouTube or something, but pick a mentor and go with that person. Don't just try and figure it out on your own, because that's the great thing about the world we're in now. The internet allows speed of implementation. Things that would take 4 years to learn how to do, you can learn in 4 months now, because you can learn from masters rather than having to figure it out on your own and learn step by step. So those are the main things, you know. Just really finding a network to help support you, believing in yourself. And I know that sounds cheesy, but that's the hardest one, man. It's easy. We beat ourselves up. You know, humans are the only one that makes us pay for our sins 1,000 times. You know, if you look at animals or whatever, if they mess up, they got to pay for their sin once. But as humans, man, we mess up. We beat ourselves up forever over it. So, you know, you just got to really be able to move forward and not keep beating yourself up over it, and realize that success will happen. It might not be now. And people see, they're like, wow, 4 years, 41 million, yeah. They don't see the 10 years before it of sales training and gutter and being broke and pounding wives' rings and stuff, you know, and to keep it non-Instagram happy and just show the highlights. You know, we'll show some lowlights here too, you know, but that's really it. You gotta believe in yourself. And you got to have this like almost like crazy, or I don't want to say crazy belief in yourself, but like unwavering belief in yourself. Like, you know what, like wake up and like, this is going to happen. I didn't get a freaking tattoo on my arm because I thought it was a guess. I got a tattoo on my arm because I knew I was going to do it, you know? So, yeah, I know that's pretty much it. That's really the things, is just really just don't give up and keep pushing. And when you get stuck, seek help, you know? All right, next, Chad, if we go next, please. Oh, you have some? Okay, go ahead, brother.
What was your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration?
And what was your biggest inspiration for you to take the route that you did?
Right. Man, it's weird. I don't really like, other than Russell, like in certain people, I don't fanfare over most people. I don't, I don't take any, I mean, I believe in God, but other than that, I don't believe any inspiration. I take it all for myself. That might sound weird, but it's the truth, man. I don't see anyone else and draw inspiration. I'll see others and see them doing great things and be like, that's cool, and get some like pump off of it. But there's never been someone where I've been like, that person made me do X, Y, or Z. It's always come from within me.
I think I might want to take advantage of you being on here. I may never get this chance again. But first, before that one was the 100,000. You said there was a woman who was capable of, I kind of missed it. All I heard you say was 100,000 a month, but yet you couldn't find, either you couldn't find someone to help her or.
Right now, one of my specific coaching clients would easily maybe even doing 300K, but we're right now building out her sales team. That's part of the things I do, is teach the whole ecosystem. I don't teach sales itself, but I teach how to build and get those people. So we've been building out our sales team, but that, if we had a salesperson that could sell right now, he'd be making at least 10 to 20 grand a month, because we give 10% would be commission on sales minimum for that. But yeah, is that what your question was?
Okay. No, I'm saying, okay, so it was the client or whatever that had a product or service that was worth 100,000.
No, ma'am. She has a $5,000 90-day group coaching program that she'd be selling a minimum of 20 to 30 of them a month, maybe way more. But because it's only her doing her sales right now, we don't have a sales guy in place for her yet, which is the process. That's a step we're at. As a solopreneur, you're always going to start out originally doing your own sales process, just because you need to get your elbows dirty and learn the ins, the outs, the objections, how to overcome it, how sales structure should be working, how it should be framed. Then you bring in a salesperson to be able to jump in and take over for you at that point off of what you learned and all the data. The hard problem is people talk a lot of game, but they can't deliver a lot of time when it comes to sales. So,
So were you?
Yes, ma'am.
Saying that you didn't have a coach, I'm not a coach, you didn't have a high ticket sales person available to put her product out there?
That is the biggest hurdle with my coaching system, is I teach everything, but to get consistent salespeople to work with my people is one of my biggest hurdles right now. Because again, people will tell you they can sell, and then you want to pay, and then you spend a month or 2 weeks even trying to figure out if they can sell. Well, those were, how many clients could have you signed up because they suck, so you got to really be careful with that. Because you think if you're testing someone out and they go through 20 people, heck, even if you're doing 30%, what is that? 6 sales that you would have gotten that they missed, you know what I mean? So it's really sketchy. You got to be really careful with sales, because that's the backbone of that business, is the sales income. So getting the right people in place is like really important.
Okay, last question here. Do you only deal with, is this whole call just about strictly high ticket sales, or would you possibly consider letting me ask you a question about little $30 sales? I don't want to
ask me what you want. I'm here for you. What do you want? What do you want?
Okay, great. Well, I've been doing network marketing for 30 years. Mm-hmm. I love it. Okay. I'm passionate about it, but there is one program that I am involved with that is digital education, which is huge now. It's only $30. I have this idea that I've had for 25 years to teach financial literacy with a great network marketing company. This is only just $30 one time, not a penny more. And I would like to, and I've dreamed about, my mission has been to go across the country teaching financial education to the underprivileged neighborhoods, which would not only generate a powerful income for them, while at the same time teaching them financial education, but it could at the same time, number 3, really and truly reduce a lot of crime and poverty.
What you want, Julie,
but the problem that I'm running into,
you don't want a business. Julie.
Yeah, okay.
You want to make a charity. You don't want to make a business. What you're trying to do is a charity. Like I have a 401 or 501(c), which is Income and Impact, which is a charity. We help homeless. You need to make a charity with that. That business model is not designed to make money. because realize you're trying to get people that are impoverished that might not be ready to be able to even implement what you're teaching them. You know, somebody will change their life, but that's more of a charity-based mission than it's going to make you $1 million.
Okay, I promise this is it. I'll let it go. But at that point, the same program,
Yes, ma'am.
you can make a great deal of money. I've earned $2,000 on one sale. Okay, with that same $30 program. However, but what you're saying is that basically overall, the mindset of these people, which is the absolute truth, that was my hurdle. Can't get over around the mindset. So I hear you. It's not. It's altruistic, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to teach homeless veterans how to be digital marketers.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
like, if their mindset's not there, that was part of my mission. I'm like, that'll be great. I'll teach them all my skills. They'll make millions.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much for your time. I recently got my degree in business IT, but I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the sales part of the business. But you mentioned that that you have like, well, a lot of us will have low moments. I was just curious to what you told yourself in that time.
Okay, so that's a great question. Really good question. One of the number one things that's helped me in both motivation and get out of those times is two things. Gratitude for what we have. Like, you got to realize no matter how bad you are right now, there's somebody out there that would give their right leg to have what you have. So if it's just like gratitude for waking up, for being healthy, when you wake up and you really show gratitude, like get out there and be like really grateful, it will help lift you up through those times. The other thing is realize that everything, and know this sounds cheesy, but it happens for a reason. My wife, ring, all that stuff, that all happened to lead you to where it is. So even if everything's crappy right now, realize the reason it's crappy right now, because that's going to lead you to something greater. Nothing terrible lasts forever. But those that come out on the other side are always stronger. Always. Because think about this, if it was handed to you, you wouldn't value it. And maybe it's the universe or God or whatever it is, but they're testing you. So when you get on the other side, you appreciate it and you do something with it rather than just saying, okay, cool, and move on.
Guys, what up? It's your boy Mike Barron. Thank you for checking out the YouTube channel. Truly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you forget, I'm gonna come to this computer right now and I'm gonna close you my damn self. Let's go. I'll see you at the top, y'all.